Welcome back to Relationshit. We got Nina Parker in the motherfucking house.
Welcome. Hello.
I'm
good
so
to see you, sis.
happy to see you. I haven't seen you in...
I know it's since the pandemic started. We haven't seen, I feel like I've seen you because on Instagram.
Right, exactly.
You know, it gives us this false sense of like camaraderie.
Exactly. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
If you don't know
you look
Nina,
good.
thank you. So do you, girl. And beat, by the way. You can't see her until you see the video on Instagram, but like she's beat.
Yeah, I filmed earlier. If I had done it, it would look a lot more of a mess. It would look like, you know,
because you
coloring outside the lines.
6 o'clock in the morning. How are you supposed to get the beat together at 6 o'clock in the morning?
I don't. No, my team does.
Exactly.
I don't.
Exactly.
But if I did it myself, it would look a lot worse.
Well, it looks great.
Thank you.
Emmy Award nominated. Or did you win?
No. I was on E! News, and E! News was nominated for an Emmy.
You were nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that.
Yes. Nightly pop on E! I mean, I think everyone has seen. Everybody knows who you are. You have been in the game hustling.
Yes.
For a minute.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Thank you.
And now you have a fashion line.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. It's the Nina Parker collection. It is at Macy's and Macy's online. So it's for women sizes 12 to 26. And, you know, just for representing for the curvy girls, you know, there hasn't been a lot of fashion, you know, forwardness, in my opinion, in the plus area. So look, this isn't the end all be all, but this is definitely in addition to trying to expand that arena and giving options. I've always thought it was very odd that clothes would just stop at a size.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why don't they make this dress in a 14?
Right.
Like, why they stop making this dress in a 10? Like, if you're 14 or 16 or 20, you can't, you know, appreciate it the same.
Right.
So I've just been, you know, I do basics where it's just like tank tops and bodysuits and jeans, but then also like dresses and, you know, sheer bodysuits and things like that, and suits that are cool. So just trying to like give the girls some options, you know, material girl.
The material girls need options, because I don't understand how these clothing companies, they take one garment, so they take a dress, and instead of like making sure that it actually is proportionate, they just make it wider.
Right.
I'm like, but you didn't change the titties though. The
right.
titties also need to expand. Like you can't have an A cup.
Yeah, and this is no shade to her, because Kim Kardashian does Skims, and I've purchased a couple of the plus items with Skims, and they don't fit me properly. And so sometimes I wonder, like, when you're making this, are plus people involved?
No.
You know, like, how does this
not.
work? Because the sizing is so different, and, you know, people are so hung up on sizes too. So they want to be a certain size. So it's like they refuse to purchase what may be their real size. And then I feel like brands also don't want to have certain sizes. There are certain brands I just won't buy from because I feel like they're so weird about their sizing. So, you know, we try to be as true to size as possible. My fit model, I actually got rid of my first fit model because I felt like she didn't represent the women that I see wearing the clothes. You know, no shade to her, but I just wanted a fit model that was a little curvier, that had a little more of a stomach, that had, you know, a little back fat, like, because that's what you need to see when you put the clothes on. You need to know, like, it's going to fit the real way.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's so true.
So it's a progressive thing. And, you know, we put out a collection every month. So, you know, there's going to be something for everybody every month. You know, vacation time, there's going to be, you know, flowy outfits and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's a work in progress, and I'm really trying to get down exactly what I want it to be, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
Thank you.
So proud. I just feel like you just keep growing, like you just keep getting,
that's the goal,
better and better every single time.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I didn't know that I was going to get involved in fashion. It was really something I got involved with out of frustration, just because I felt like I just felt like the way I was dressing didn't represent who I was. I was like, but this is all I have.
Right.
And that was just a frustration. So obviously when I got a little bit more money, I had the opportunity to work with a stylist, get things tailored. When I was broke, I couldn't do that. I had to just make whatever worked, take some men's clothes, make it work. And so when I was able to have a little bit more coin, I was like, oh, I can, you know, really create this look the way I want to look. And then people started being like, oh, where'd you get that? And I'm like, oh, me and my stylist really just put two outfits together and sewed them and had them made. And eventually it caught the eye of who's now my business partner, who was watching Nightly Pop and was like, I really love the way you put your outfits together. Are you interested in maybe doing a clothing line? Which I had just put it on my vision board. So it literally happened like 2 weeks after me putting it on my vision board.
What's your sign?
I'm a Libra.
Of course.
Libra / I'm the last day of Libra. So
so you are the Scorpio
I'm
side.
October 22nd.
Come over to us.
Is that your birthday?
Come over.
Oh my God. That's your birthday? That is amazing.
It's our producer's birthday.
It's your producer's birthday.
Yes.
Shout out to October 22nd.
Yes.
So we have a little Scorpio in us, little fire, because Libras are actually pretty calm. But, there's a lot of famous, like Cardi B is a Libra. Kim Kardashian is a Libra. Doja's a Libra. So we're very like spicy, but like chill at the same time. It's weird.
No, I love Libras. I have Libra in my big 3, but I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
Of course.
But I get along really well with Scorpio women.
Yeah.
Probably because I have a little bit in me.
Yes.
So I understand we're investigators.
A little crazy.
A little cuckoo.
But it's all with good intentions until it's not.
Yes, exactly.
Until it's not. Okay, so on that note, since we're talking about celebrities, we're talking about investigation. And you are a journalist. You are a host.
Yeah.
You talk about celebrities every day for a living. Do you ever get tired of it?
Yeah. I have to keep it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'm good at it. And this is something I've been doing for a really long time. But it's just as you get older, you just care less about other people's business. And that's just the way it is. What I love about doing Nightly Pop is it's more of just a take on life. So it's like, hey, this happened with them, but what do you think about how it applies to your stuff? Or funny clips and, viral videos. That to me is more my speed. Just sitting down and breaking down like Pete and Kim for 30 minutes isn't necessarily something I want to do forever. You know what I mean? I think it's just it's a perspective which is fun to have. But I'm growing, I'm getting older, and I just start to care less about what celebrities are doing as I get older.
I think I more understand now the reason why celebrities and people just in general are so secretive about their private lives. Like when I hear like Jay Ellis was talking about the fact that he doesn't talk about his fiance publicly. They could be married by now. We have no idea.
Right.
They have a kid together, and like he's like, because that's the one thing in my life that I can keep to myself. And I'm like, I respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that. So I understand that too.
And I get it, especially like as a host, it's weird because I don't feel like I'm famous. You are. I don't, it's just such a funny, I think because I talk about people like Angelina Jolie and like, that to me is famous. I feel like you might know who I am, but that doesn't mean I'm famous. My friends say I'm very disconnected from who people think I am. I'm just, because I just like to do regular shit. So, I'm not really in the streets. I'm not really in the industry. Like you probably will never see me at like an industry party. Unless I'm hosting or working. Like I do the Oscars, but I don't enjoy doing that stuff outside of work. So I'm not like a red carpet girl where you're going to see me at like the Us Weekly parties and stuff like that. I would much rather be at like the dive bar, you know what I mean? With my close girlfriends, having wings and like, shots and like that's my speed. So I've never really been on the scene. So for me, I don't feel like I'm this notable person until somebody I don't know comes up to me and I'm like, I forget, I'm like, oh, I forgot I do TV,
Yes. Like, oh, you see me on that? Yeah. I do that sometimes.
So I have a lot of friends who are like, are you crazy? Like, there's the clothing line and the TV shows and stuff like that. And it still just feels very, I still, that Cardi B, like, I'm just a regular. Like, I still don't, it still hasn't really sunk in, I guess. It's weird.
I feel the same way, actually. Because I also feel like, I don't know how close you are with like your family and like your friends who are not in that industry.
Yeah, very close.
Once you're like, when you have a tight knit group that and like a community like that, you don't give a fuck about this shit.
Yeah. I mean, you just know how to separate. Like when people come here and they're like, oh, I hate LA and da da da. I'm like, then you don't really know LA.
Yeah.
Because LA, if you're able to separate LA and Hollywood, you live an amazing life here. Most of the people I know who live here, like the natives LA natives are dope.
Yeah.
I have a couple of girlfriends from Inglewood and they showed me like the real LA.
Yeah.
Outside of Hollywood. If you come here and all you know is Hollywood and Hollywood parties, then yes, you will be miserable.
Yes.
But if you know the real LA, like what Issa showed us on Insecure, which I appreciated because there were so many like the LA Art Walk and things that like people on TV, when you watch a show like Selling Sunset and they show Melrose and they show Sunset, that's not the real LA that people who live here every day live, even though we shooting right now off of Sunset.
Yeah, right.
But
we're on Sunset right
now.
You
know what I mean? But you know what I mean? Outside of that, like, I feel like there's so much of LA that's so beautiful and cool and cultural that doesn't get a lot of love in the mainstream world. And I think that's why I really loved Insecure, because it showed these really gritty parts of LA that aren't really gritty, but you know, you just didn't see them publicized in a romantic way.
Yeah, it's so true.
Exactly.
It's so true. So how do you feel? I mean, today's episode is all about celebrity talk. We're talking relationship as it pertains to celebrities.
Yes.
I know you talk about celebrities all day, but we're going to talk about them.
That's
some
okay.
More.
That's
some more.
okay.
Just a little bit more.
You're going to get and then my weekend is going to start, so it's fine.
Yes,
I'll take a little time off.
Perfect. How do you feel about celebrities dating other celebrities?
I just feel like it's like being in a fraternity and a sorority in college. You end up, you're hanging around like a lot of the same people all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just kind of one of those things where like your proximity, like you're going to an event, I see this person all the time. We have the same rep, like our friends are actors. Like, it's just, I think it's natural to, in whatever profession you're in, you know, you're around the people you work with the most. So I think in acting, a lot of it is schmoozing and networking. And so you end up going, you see the same people all the time in LA. Like if I see you at this event on Tuesday and they have another event on Friday, I'm probably gonna see you there too. So I don't have a feeling about it. I feel like it's pretty natural.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've dated actors in this business, and I'm not even an actor or an actress. It's just the proximity and events and stuff, we run into each other. And I think there is a nice security and feeling like these people need to protect themselves too. They're not going to be reckless because they have an image too. And then they kind of also know like what it's like to have like people in their business and be a public figure. So there's a little bit of understanding that gives you a little sense of security too.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
That's true. That's a good point. Because sometimes I feel like, are all these celebrities just dating each other? Like they just cycle each other around? They just get on each other's business cards?
But I think they geek out like we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if I could be in the same room with like all of my crushes, I'm trying to date all of them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these dudes, especially like a Pete Davidson is a regular dude.
Can we talk about Pete?
You know, Pete,
what does he have going on?
I don't know, girl. I guess he just, I've seen the print.
Yeah, right.
The print looks nice.
Right.
So maybe that's it. I think he's funny. People, I don't know. The word on the street is he's funny and charismatic.
Yes.
Men get away with that shit. Like, they can be an okay looking person and they have a great personality and it goes a long way. It's not the same for like women, no. you have the best personality. You not snagging Michael B. Jordan. Right.
That's a fact.
But you could be, an okay dude and snag a Kim Kardashian because you're funny.
But don't you think some of these relationships are publicity stunts?
Yeah.
A lot of them are. And I think that people don't realize how calculated things can be behind the scenes when it comes to some of these relationships.
Yeah. I mean, also, I think that they're fooling themselves. Some of the celebs are fooling themselves, too. Like, they think it's real. But, I have some friends or old people who were my friends who now I say we're industry friends, but like their star rose and they became somebody else because they were so concerned with the Instagram posts and so concerned with their appearances that became their personality. So like the person I knew no longer existed because this new person was concerned about what they looked like on Instagram and posting often. And so when you would be out with them, it was like a shell of who they used to be. And so I feel like a lot of times in their mind, this is a real relationship. They just don't realize how vapid it is because they're caught up in this machine of being seen.
Yes.
And that's why it really scares me to get any more notability because it is like an addictive, the attention is nice. But, somebody told me a long time ago that like you can't believe everything good that everybody says about you and you can't believe everything bad.
That's true.
Like when you have a lot of people, because sometimes I see somebody looking crazy and the comments are all love and I'm like,
yeah,
if y'all do this to like y'all tell me if I'm looking crazy because I'm like y'all can't love this. Like that's when I knew, that's when I would be like, this shit ain't real because it's literally hundreds of people complimenting somebody knowing this person is off their rocker about some shit, And so I just had to tell myself, like, I keep like my close group around me and I just try to keep it solid because it's just like this machine will really eat a person up like in like their spirit, who they really are. And so I think these relationships, they really sometimes I think believe they're real, not realizing that like it's based off of, something really shallow.
Yeah. But I feel like the average person who may not know anything about celebrity life and like what that's even like and what happens behind the scenes with these relationships and how vapid some of them are and how shallow some of them are, people get very, very attached to celebrity relationships. And when a couple breaks up, a celebrity couple, everybody wants to know why. Everybody feels like they're entitled to the
Yeah.
reason why you broke up with somebody.
It's so weird, but I guess you do that with people you know who aren't celebrities, right? Like if you're a regular person with 200 followers and you're posting your man and then you break up, everybody who follows you is going to be like, girl, what happened? They're going to be in your DMs.
Facts.
So I think it's just an XL version of what we already do as humans. I think we're just naturally nosy.
Yeah.
And like I see couples now where I'm like, they're so cute. Like I want to know what they were having for dinner,
Yeah.
you know? And these are just like a TikTok couple. Like they're not anybody famous, you know? I just get invested. I'll see someone on my Explore page like, this couple is so cute. And so I think it's just natural. I don't know what that is, what that's about. It's just natural to like, maybe it's just like this romantic idea we've been fed that like we want to, you know, see other people in love.
Yeah.
But it is, you know, people do get obsessed. Like I have celebrity couples I think are cute. Like I think Ben and Jennifer are cute. Like I used to love them when they were.
I'm here for them.
Me too.
A lot of people aren't.
Well, I loved them when they were originally together.
Yeah, same.
I was like, oh, I love it. It's so cute. So when they got back together, I was like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, he's not good for her, and I'm like, we don't know either one of them.
Right. Right. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You're like, no, he's not good enough for her.
He's not good for her. I'm like, girl. Meanwhile, you in this it's long-term toxic relationship. Shut up.
Exactly.
So you know, I'm here for it. Like at this point in my life, I feel like I'm probably the most zen I've ever been. So I'm very much like, do what makes you happy, girl. Like I say I don't care, and I don't mean that in the sense of like it doesn't matter. But I genuinely don't care what other people do. Like I just feel like I don't have a right to care what you do with your own personal life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if it's not hurting anybody, like. What do I care who somebody's with? You know, it doesn't bother me.
Unless
it's Julia Fox.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Unless it's Julia Fox and Kanye.
Only because it's being shoved down my throat.
Like, stop with that.
Yeah,
Stop playing.
Do you?
No,
but like,
stop it.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Over it.
Yeah, it's just so much. It's just so much.
She only got one outfit. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
He can't put her in something else?
And it's all half tops, and it's, you know, it's a lot. The makeup, the posing, the kissing, the tonguing down. It's just, you know, we're being force fed it. And you know, it's just when you look at something so inauthentic, it's like, come on.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then there are people who are like, oh, she ate. And it's no shade to her.
They just trying to get an invite to Sunday Soul Service, child. They just, you know.
See, we know what's going on. We can see what's really going on here.
It's just, you know, you'll play this back in a couple months when it's all played out and it's over. And she'll be doing interviews about the relationship. And, you know, she admittedly was obsessed with Kim Kardashian. She said she'd seen every episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So she was a fan, in my opinion, you know, and, you know, she's an actress and has her own life. But she signed up for, we know that she's using him and he's using her.
Right.
They are mutually using each other for different reasons.
But because he's a Gemini and Geminis can, no shade to y'all. I know we have some Gemini listeners, but after getting out of a relationship with a Gemini, I feel like I should be entitled to compensation. Truly, because Geminis are crazy. But also in love, they can be very, very emotionally attached. If they really fuck with you, they fuck with you for a long time. So I wonder if he actually thinks that this is a relationship.
I don't know. You know, Kanye is in a different space right now. So I don't think it's the most stable space.
Right.
So I don't know. I think he can really believe something on Monday. And by Tuesday, he really believes something else. You know?
Yeah. Obviously, we asked some people online on our Instagram. We asked, let's talk celebrity relationship. What stories have you like emoji with the popcorn? Because some of these stories have us on the edge of our seat. And, you know, it's easy for us to judge because we're not in these situations. Of course. Obviously, celebrities are people, too. Sure. And they go through their own shit. But, you know, people have questions.
Yes.
Somebody said that they wanted to talk about Nick Cannon and his baby army.
Ooh. Oh. I just, you know, I said this earlier that, you know, people can do whatever they want. I do feel like what Nick is doing is affecting the environment, though.
He's a Libra, too, you know.
Is he a Libra?
Yeah, of course he is.
Libra men are different, though, girl. We don't claim them. We don't claim the Libra men. You know, he it's not like he's doing this alone.
Good for the environment.
It's girl, I feel like he is contributing to global warming.
1000%.
Like, this is a lot. You know, and it's so weird to me that he's doing this daytime show, and on the daytime show he looks like this wholesome guy, and then we know what he's doing on the low, and we're not so low, But, you know, what I will say is I do like the fact that he's claiming everybody.
He better.
He posts all the women, and, you know, they know they're getting involved in this harem.
Right.
You know,
Right.
It's not like these women don't know what they're getting involved in. At this point, I feel like people are auditioning.
I've heard that he's very charming and that
yeah.
women just like fall in love with him.
Probably if he's interested. He has never been charming when I've met him.
Oh.
But he probably wasn't. He wasn't checking for me.
He wasn't recruiting.
So he wasn't recruiting. He was. I had never seen that. You know, he wasn't mean, but he wasn't nice. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was just like, he just seemed preoccupied and like he didn't really, you know, have any interest in speaking to me. You know, it just seemed very. You know, how there are some men who just see through you, and it's just like, hey, what's up?
How are you?
Hey, what's up? You know, and I had done some
They
set
are
visits,
like
and it wasn't not pleasant, but it also wasn't warm. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, there are people you meet with, they're so nice, they were so warm, they were so lovely. I've met him a few times and it's never been that. It's always been very cold, but not in a rude way. Just very like,
in passing.
You know, just very, you know, just like, I mean, I've interviewed him and it's still been like super cold and textbook and just, you know, just like not very warm or, you know, very charming, just very like to the point and I'm out of here. But I get it. Like he's running multiple businesses and he's, you know,
a breeding factory.
I mean, he got to go make these babies. So he probably ain't got time to be nice, child. He got to go make another baby.
You know what it is about him? And like, I know one of his baby moms, she's the sweetest person ever. She's so sweet. And they have 2 kids together. Beautiful. But the fact that this man goes and bounces from holiday photo shoot to holiday photo shoot with each baby. I
guess what are you supposed to do?
Well, yes, what you're supposed to do. But oh my God.
Yeah, it's very different from what we're used to seeing. And I don't know, maybe this is where the world is heading. I know
not my world.
Well, I've known people in more open relationships now than I ever have. I feel like open relationship is now like a buzzword and a buzz thing to do. You know, but also I don't know what his net worth is, but I know he's not the guy who's working at the check cashing store. He can afford to support these children. However, I just think it's impossible, if we're being realistic, it's impossible to be there for all your kids when you're spread thin, because I can imagine now he has a radio show, he has a talk show, he has Wildin' Out, he has all of these businesses that he needs to keep now for sure.
Right.
Like, you're not retiring anytime soon. You need these businesses. And it's just like, you know, when they get older and maybe a mom has to move out of the state, right? They're not all in LA. We know Mariah is mainly on the East Coast, and like, how do you split up yourself over 8 kids for Christmas and birthdays and graduations? What if one is graduating the day after one? And, you know, it just seems like it's going to be very unrealistic when they get older. As babies, I think it's more manageable, but when their needs become more, when they're going baseball games and football games, are you going to be able to be a dad that's really there? Because for me, finances don't mean as much as actually having those memories with you. So I'm worried about that, but you know, it's not my family.
Right.
But it just seems like
exhausting.
I don't think about like all the things my dad bought me. I think about like the quality time I had with my dad, which was daily. Like that daily impression my father had helped shape me. Him popping in and out, you know, I don't think that I would be the woman I am today without his influence, you know? So I that's a concern, but you know,
you like it, I love it.
Well, you know,
that's how I feel.
He ain't gonna stop having babies because what I think.
Right, that's true. He's gonna be like, okay.
Nick is trying to hit the teens.
Right.
You know, he gonna keep doing it till he can't. And I mean, he could probably, men can have babies till they're 60s.
Forever.
So.
Okay, Tristan Thompson.
Oh boy.
Obviously, everybody wants to talk about him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I have to remember that Tristan is still really young. I think he's only like 29.
And he's a Pisces.
Yeah.
Which explains everything that you need to know about him.
You know, I don't know a lot of Pisces men. My co-host he's an Aries. So yeah, I don't know any Pisces men actually. Good. So I'll keep it that way apparently. But it's, you know, I mean, he's something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like something's wrong with Tristan. Yeah. I mean, let's keep it a buck. This is not how a normal person behaves. And my thing is, like, if you want to be single, you have money and you can afford to do these things, do them. But you shouldn't be trying to tell this woman you want to be in a relationship with her and have a family with her, and you know this is just not what you want. Like, this infidelity is an embarrassing infidelity.
Yeah.
But this is, you know, we have to make Chloe a little accountable because she keeps letting him come back.
True.
And it's like, I do understand women wanting to be with the father of their children, but at some point you got to let it go.
You have to.
Girl, you got to let it go.
For your own sanity.
Well, now you got a little black daughter.
Right.
And you need to let her know that what she deserves and how she deserves to be treated, because she's already a mixed child and she's going to have some type of identity issues as she's growing up, trying to navigate her way through the world. And you need to show her what it's like to be a strong woman and have a backbone, and also like how she needs to be treated by these men that she's going to be involved with, because what she sees as a child, we don't know what type of validation she's going to try to seek because of what her dad was doing to you.
Right.
So you got to step up. So it's just like, it's not only about you and him, like set an example for this little girl.
Yeah. And I just can't imagine also like being a celebrity, that level of celebrity, and every single mishap, every single argument, every single whatever spat ends up on Google, where your child can find it one day. And I need to make sure that if my future daughter is Googling me,
that she knows,
she gonna see. If I'm dating Tristan, God forbid, you gonna see me slap him one time on camera.
Girl, and that's really Chloe's problem. That's really the only problem I have with her, is that I've been a sucker for love. I've been a sucker for love. I've gone back into relationships I shouldn't have gone into. I haven't been a mother in those situations, though. I would like to think if I had a child, I would operate differently, but I can be a little bit more selfish in that way. But I will say the only problem I really have with her is she said, like, I don't want to stop him from seeing his daughter. I don't want to disrespect him publicly. I just want us to be cool. It's like, later for that. Like, if you disrespected him a little bit more and he got embarrassed, maybe he would stop playing with you. Because you're trying to be the bigger. Sometimes being the bigger person is overrated.
No. I don't want to be the big person.
Not in this situation.
Small as I can be.
No, not when you playing with me in my face.
Exactly.
There's a level of respect once you play with me in my face. You got to go. Your family got to go. Everybody got to go. And you need to know what time it is. And the problem is, Chloe has the power to do that. And from what we've seen, she hasn't done it because she wants, I want to be an example. And this is the weak sauce, sis.
Yeah.
No,
fuck all that.
Fuck all that. Later for that.
I understand like the privacy of their family, and they operate very much like a compound. Like if there is one instance in life where I would love to be a fly on the wall, it would be at the Kardashians' house. Just be a fly on the wall and just hear just what goes down on the inside.
I feel like we kind of saw it a little bit through the show, like it's chaotic.
Yeah, but there's more conversations being had. I want to tap into those phone lines. I want to see what is actually happening inside there.
Probably way more than we imagine and that we know. But the good thing is she does have, like, she could be only child, right? Dealing with this. At least she has sisters.
Right.
Too bad she don't have sisters that like to pull up.
Okay. That's
because me and I would be pulling up.
Oh, I would have already been outside.
It wouldn't even be. I wouldn't even talk to my sister about it at this point. No. If I felt like my sister couldn't handle it, I'm handling it.
1,000%.
Like, okay, my sister's feeling like she's too weak to deal with this. I'm pulling up. Like, you're not embarrassing my sister and my niece like this.
No.
We're not having it.
And you want to show up outside the birthday party? I will drag you out.
Uncles, my cousins, everybody would be involved. Tristan would be scared to come to the Parker household. Yes. But, that's how we get down. And I think if she had a little bit more of that, like, I don't think it stops a man from acting a fool, but I do think that it would stop him from playing with her and just be like, okay, let's just co-parent and I'm going to do my thing. Because he wants to wild out.
Yeah, clearly.
When he kissed Jordan, I was like, okay. And I'm not putting her at fault at all, but I'm like, when he did that should have been it.
Ultimate disrespect.
Yeah, because she said he came on to her. So,
but he's also supposed. No, you're supposed to be the
you
more
came
mature
on to my
one in the situation.
Friend.
You're doing too much.
Yeah,
he does too much.
That should have been it. Anything past that situation, that's your fault now. Because it's like, you kissed my little sister's friend. We don't have nothing else to talk about.
Now you have to accept kind of what comes with that. Yeah. That's with non-celebrity relationships.
Yeah.
Somebody cheats on you so blatantly and you take them back.
That's just, he's really, to me, trying to send her a signal. Like, I think he does think he loves her. But what I've learned, and it was so crazy because I just kind of had this like epiphany myself. And I was like, I don't think I've ever been in love because I've been in long-term relationships and I called it love. But really what it was trauma bonding and codependency. And I'm like, this relationship wasn't love. This was, everything about it was toxic. I thought I loved this person, But this was just us bonding through trauma in different ways and being codependent in different ways and calling it love and doing this cycle over and over again and calling it love. But it really was just attachment. I'm like this, because love is such a healthy thing.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful, healthy, pure thing. And when you love someone, you just genuinely don't do these things. Obviously, you can have like miscommunications, but real love is not rooted in any type of validation. Real love is not trying to get something from that person to make you feel whole. That's not what it is. And I realized myself, like, I don't know if I've ever been in love, because everything that all my long-term relationships have been toxic. But I had to go through what I went through to have those types of realizations. I was like, this is complete codependency. And I think with that relationship, there's codependency on both sides, and they're bonded through their child, and they're bonded through different types of trauma. I don't see any love in how he's treating her.
No,
there's no love there.
not 1 ounce.
And they can't, you can't. And once I realized that my past relationships were codependency, it freed me. It freed me from any attachments that I had to them, because I was like, that was never love in the first place.
Yeah. Are you in therapy?
I was. And, this is really just more of my self-work. I was in therapy. So I ended a relationship in 2019, and I did extensive therapy all of 2020 and most of 2021. And then I kind of chilled out on it and just started to kind of do my own research and books and, meditation and things like that. Cause I had made some really silly life choices. I had been a Chloe, you know what I'm saying? In some of my relationships. And I was like, why beyond like thinking about how this person hurt me, why am I making these decisions? Why am I picking people who do X, Y, and Z? Why am I stopped blaming my ex for the relationship downfall, and I stopped thinking about my part in it, because I'm like, look, I can't control that this person did some dumb shit, but like, why did I stay in the cycle? Why did I continue to do these things? And once I started to really work on me, it made me alleviate him and really figure out what I was doing, because I didn't want to bring that into my next thing, because I was like, my next thing is going to be the last thing.
Right.
And how can I ensure that? And so I really started to do that work, and I really found out what codependency versus love was. And everything on the codependency list was my old relationships. And I really didn't check off anything on the love box. I thought it was love.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us think codependency is love.
Yeah.
But trauma bonds and codependency will make you think you're, that's like when I see the rapper NBA Youngboy and that young girl that he's with that stabbed the other girl. And she's like, I love him so much. And I'm like, no, that's not, if we had more healthy ideas of what love is, you wouldn't be so confused, because then you can identify it.
Yeah.
And it's just such a good place to be. And it's so empowering. I feel so free, because now that I can recognize love, I can also recognize what is not love. And it allows me to keep my boundaries very clear, and it allows me to walk away from anything that's not for me.
I'm gonna need you to send the whole folder of that information to our good girl Chloe,
yes,
so she can
Chloe.
Be unshackled.
Because it's just such, and you're not mad anymore, and you're
Yeah.
not angry at anybody, and you're just like, I didn't know what I was in, and then you just feel so free, because you really do feel it. Because I sometimes think when you're in those relationships, you don't feel in control. My emotions are controlling me. My emotions are making me go back and let him call me at 2 a.m. and open the door and run to me raining and cry and get on his knees and beg me back. And you don't need that type of validation once you realize, like, this person is validating me to make me feel worthy, and that's why I like them crawling back to me. But when you don't need that anymore, then it's not appealing. Then it's annoying. It's like, no. I'm not answering this call. I'm not doing these things.
Yeah.
Because you're seeking something and I'm seeking something.
Yeah.
And I don't need that shit from him anymore. And so, I want her to be in that place, because I don't wish those types of relationships on any woman.
No.
And the only reason I'm so passionate about it is because I had really bad toxic relationships that I really do believe if I didn't have the family that I had, it would have broke me down a long time ago. And I just feel so good now and peaceful and just like navigating through the dating world now. And it's just such a good place to be in. I wish that for every woman.
Girl, you're gonna have to give me some tips.
I got you. I got some helpful Instagram pages, girl.
Please.
Like, there's a lot of therapists right now on Instagram that are really doing their, because of the pandemic, they're utilizing their pages to really spill some really great knowledge. Not like the fake, like, quotes, like, love will come around. It's like, no,
bitch,
like
I
real.
need the truth.
Yeah. And it's been really empowering and helpful, but it's just, this pandemic has been really good in opening my eyes to like what real love is and what healthy love looks like.
Yeah.
And, it echoes more of like what you have with your family, like the mother's love and things like that, where it is unconditional, but it's a healthy way of loving.
Oh, I love that. That made me feel warm inside.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Good. I did want to ask you. I know we talked about a lot of black couples and Chloe, but
Ooh,
I don't. I don't know if you saw.
What? Get out. I love her. I know it's your podcast. But get out.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving in a second. But first, okay. Did you see that whole drama with Tommy Lee, Brittany Ferlin, and do you follow Hello Teffy on? Are you on TikTok?
I'm just getting on TikTok.
Okay,
so I'm
okay.
not. I'm on there on the low.
So let me get you up to speed.
Okay.
Ooh, look at me giving you information
Give it to
about
me.
celebrity drama.
Okay.
So Hello Teffy is an amazing TikToker. She has
Okay.
millions of followers. She does these really great breakdowns of kind of like 90s relationships that we used to idolize back in the day. So like Bennifer and like all that. So she did like a series on Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee and like their whole whirlwind romance.
Yes.
And if you don't know who these people are, you too young for this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need you to
There's
log
a series
off.
dedicated out to them right now. You can watch that and catch up.
Exactly. So she gives like a whole breakdown of everything that happened, but it was like very both sides of the story. Like she gave all the information. And as we know, Tommy Lee had substance abuse issues. And you know, him and Pamela's relationship was very tumultuous, even though there was a lot of like excitement there because the viewers were excited. It was a celebrity couple and they were like rock and roll. Everybody was very excited about it. So she gives this whole breakdown. Apparently, Tommy Lee's wife now, I believe they're married, Brittany Ferlin, who she was like a big Viner, and I think she does some TikTok stuff now. She has been following Teffy for a while, and she unfollowed her after she posted this series and went on this whole like rant, basically saying that, you know, she can't believe that Teffy would do this to her, and like it's inappropriate, and you know, everyone's moved on. And Teffy was just kind of like, I would never do anything to hurt you personally.
Are they friends?
No, they're like internet, you know, they follow each other or whatever. But like, she was just like, I would never do something to intentionally hurt you. I was literally just giving facts. She doesn't really give her opinions on these couples. She mostly just gives facts about like what happened in the relationship, and everything that she got information wise was from his book about his life and the relationships and stuff like that, and also like blogs and different things that Pamela wrote herself. So how do you tread the line? Teffy's not a journalist per se, but like, how do you tread the line of talking about these relationships and then running into these people at award shows and stuff like that, and you know, they could be giving you shade?
Well, I got really good advice from Wendy Williams years ago, who was basically like, I do my best to have my own friendships. I try not to make celebrity friends. Like, she had said something to me years ago, just like, you know, that's like, you shouldn't chase that. Like, that's not really real anyway. Like, she had kind of just made a conversation about like, it's gonna affect your professional relationship. And, you know, you should try to keep it at a minimum. And, you know, for the most part, it's not that I tried to follow it. I have friends who are celebrities. But what I've really tried to do, and I think what I've done from the beginning of my career, was just be straight up. Like, one of the things I feel like people know of me within the industry is like, I'm a straight shooter. Like, I don't bullshit. I'm not scary. And if something uncomfortable happens, I'm not afraid to have an uncomfortable conversation. So it was harder for me when I was at TMZ because, you know, I wasn't the only reporter there. There's 20 reporters, right? So my coworker could have done a story on someone, and then they're mad that it's up on the site. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with reporting it. I didn't put it up, but they're mad that TMZ reported it, and they're mad at me.
Yeah, they're mad because you're associated with TMZ.
They're like, I'm mad, you know. But for the most part, I would be honest and be like, hey, we have to make sure we're calling them, give them the opportunity to tell their side. And I would just be honest, like, look, I don't own this site. Harvey's going to run this story. You can give your side or not. I'm giving you the opportunity, because you're my friend, to tell your side. But ultimately, I can't get involved in the highs and lows of somebody's celebrity. I have to play it through the middle, because if you want me to report on you while you're winning an Oscar, but you don't want me to report on you when you have a DUI, then you're not really fucking with me either, because you know this is my job. So it's like, if you don't want your dumb shit on the news and everything, then don't do it in a place where you know people gonna be. Don't go to Craig's and then be mad at me if something is talked about on my show. And I recently actually just had this happen with a friend of mine who is a celebrity who I'm good friends with them. I've been to their home, and something was said on something on E. It wasn't me, but somebody said something that didn't rub this person the right way. And they were like, you know, I don't know if I really want to do your show. But it was done through reps. So I text her, because her reps told the show's reps, and it was just like, hey, this thing was said. It wasn't even by anybody who was on the show, it was like a guest host said something. And the thing about like nightly pop is like there's comedians that come on. So sometimes it's these like comedians who say something, they go home, and then we got to deal with the brunt of what they say. And it is what it is. It's a kind of a game with celebrity. But anyway, her team had expressed that she wasn't really happy with what was said on set, and you know, was a little upset by the clip that I wasn't even in. I text her and I was just like, hey, I don't know what happened. Your team is saying one thing. And a lot of times you just have to deal with shit head up. You can't be scared of confrontation. And I was like, you know, you're my girl and I'm going to defend you. But people also, I can't control what anybody else says. The only thing I can do is speak from my perspective. So I hope you understand that. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I know it wasn't you. And she made her decision not to come on our show. But it didn't affect our friendship. I was like, no problem, because it's a 24-hour day.
Yeah.
And the next day there's another story to talk about.
Right.
And nobody cares.
Right.
So I'm not tripping if like somebody doesn't want to talk or come on the show, or okay, well, tomorrow's Tuesday and there's another day and somebody else wants to be on. And trust me, like, we don't need more celebrity content. Like we got a lot to, you know, and the thing is, these days you don't need the celebrity to come sit on your couch to discuss them.
Right.
So, you know, if you come on, you don't want to do it. It's really not, it's really hindering you, because I can still talk about you even if you're not sitting here and go viral. So if you want to sit down and have the conversation, be a part of it, that's you. But I've just never been shady about my shit. You're never going to see it on TV before I have the conversation with you. And I'm not going to bring up our personal business and trash you and do all that. I don't take that shit personally. And I think I learned that a long time ago. I just learned that this game isn't something that you can take personal. And the egos are really involved. People are very sensitive. All you can do is be honest with them, and they have to respect you for your honesty, or they don't fuck with you because of it. And either way, that's their choice. And to be honest with you, I don't care. Like, I'm like, if you don't like me because of some Hollywood shit, then you're not the kind of person I really want to surround myself with anyway. Now, if you can see what Hollywood is and navigate through it and just be like, hey, this is a business thing, but this is not personal, then you're the one for me.
Right. But also, you're a celebrity, so you know the vibes.
They know the game. They know the game, and you have a right to say. Somebody said, like, there have been people who've attacked my clothing line and then wanted me to, like, you know, do their show or whatever. And you know, I can either go on the show and say something funny about it, because look, you have a right to your opinion, or I can just be like, you know what, I was really offended by what you said. I'm not gonna. Either way, it's my choice. Yeah, it's just how you want to handle it. But you know, we do have to understand that we have a responsibility to, like, be impartial to an extent. You know, my show is very opinion driven, but like, you know, I don't know. At this point in my career, celebrity relationships don't make or break you, especially friendships. Like, you know, most of us that's their fame. It has nothing to do with mine. Right. So I've never tried to get on by my proximity to somebody else. So it's never fazed me. Now, if you're trying to use somebody, then you're going to operate differently. But I've never tried to use anybody to get on ever.
You hear what Nina said? Okay, she said, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Yeah, I'm like, girl, you can do whatever. What you eat don't make me shit. Period. So, you know, but there are people who want to use people. Right. And then those people navigate, and you can see them. You see the bloggers who want those famous friends and the stories they report on because their friends are famous. And you can look at some of these blogs and tell who's their friends by the stories that go up. And sometimes you'll be like, why are they even doing a story on this person? Yeah. Why are they covering this? Who cares? And it's like, okay, this is clearly their friend. Yeah. And then, you know, if that friend is beefing with somebody and they cover it, but it's always puts you in a position to be beholden to that person, because if you're doing your job one day and they get mad, it's going to be drama. So you can't get in, you can't pigeonhole yourself. You got to stand up at the very beginning. And that's something I learned from Harvey Levin. He was like, you got to stand up to these publicists, these celebrities the first time, or they're going to use you and eat you up. Right. And then they still going to get mad at you at one point. Right. And then you've done all this stuff for them for years. Right. And then they still throw you away.
Yeah. No, you got to set that precedent. I remember seeing that video of you with, was it Jocelyn Hernandez? Yeah. She got mad. Yeah. But because you asked a question. Yeah. But you have to ask the questions.
Well, me and Jocelyn aren't friends. Number one, like we're not. Right. We weren't. You know, we were cordial, but we weren't friends. When I was hosting a reunion. Yeah. Where
you're supposed to ask questions about things that have happened.
Yeah. I just think, you know, look, at one point she was a darling on that show. And I think she thought certain things were off limits. So I think she was blindsided by the fact that we were talking about a restraining order. And also she was known as like a tough girl. So the fact that she filed a restraining order was going to affect her reputation. Also, she had just found out she was pregnant. People didn't know that. And it wasn't anything I was at, you know, it had I couldn't say all
Yeah.
of these things, right? So there were a lot of moving pieces that were going on that people didn't know about that had caused her a lot of stress. So I really think that she was just giving me the brunt of that stressful moment, because
Yeah.
literally she had just genuinely found out she was pregnant like that day or the day
Yeah.
before, and was still shooting and was stressed out. And she probably felt betrayed by production, but like, they're telling her one thing and they're telling me something else. So they're probably coddling her, and then they're telling me, you better go for it, you know? And that's my job. My job is to ask questions. You're on a reality TV show. I have every right to ask you about what happens on that.
Yeah.
And so people, and I came, you know, I was fine with the fact that not everybody was going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
And oh well.
But you handled that so well. I remember watching that and being like, what would I do? How would I have handled this?
And mind you, this is like you and me talking, and you know, on the other side of this wall is every boss that you have for the network. And you know, I'm a host. I want to do other things outside of this show.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to act a fool and jeopardize a moment of my ego.
Yeah.
And prevent myself from booking other jobs because I want to cuss this girl out who, you know, to be honest, like, your problems are not my problems. Like, I'm not tripping off a baby daddy. I'm not pregnant. I'm not dealing with all of this drama. So my stress level is way different. And I have all these people watching and my boss in my ear telling me not to engage. You know, like, and
Ooh,
like,
it's like
please
the
don't
angel
engage.
on the shoulder,
Yeah, she's like,
meanwhile.
please, because she saw my eyebrow go. Because at first I was about to get with it. I was like, oh, okay, well, we could trade this, like, you know. And she was like, please don't engage, just get back to the questions, you know. So it was, we both probably were pumped up on the side, and it became like this viral clip that the sound is played on TikTok and everything. But I don't have no problem with her, you know what I mean? Like, if I see her, it's what's up, you know what I mean? I don't think we ever had a beef. And even at the end of the production, she didn't apologize, but she was just like, you look nice. Like, that was her way of apologizing. I think she's a Scorpio too.
She is?
Yeah. And she was just like, oh, you look nice. I like your outfit. And then she left. You know, that's how she apologized, I feel like. So it was, you know, it's never, I think when we both see the clip, we laugh. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a personal thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So where can everybody find you?
So I have just recently changed my Instagram.
I saw. That
Yes.
was exciting.
Yes. So I used to be Miss Gossip Girl. I literally got that handle when I was at TMZ. When, like, Twitter first started, I was like there in 2009. And I initially had it Nina Parker TMZ, and then they got mad at me. So I switched it to they were like, don't put our names in the handle. So I was like, fine, it'll be Miss Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
And so I had that for like 10 years. So now it is the Nina Parker.
We've rebranded.
Yes, it is a rebrand, bitch. It's the Nina Parker on Twitter and the Nina Parker on Instagram.
And
so
they can find the clothing line.
Yes, the clothing line is at Macy's and Macy's online. Sizes 0X to 26. So, and you know, and I have had a lot of friends who are below a size 12 who are like, I want to buy it, but there are things you can oversize. Like, we have camo jackets and, you know, camo pants and things. Like, if you like oversized, you might be able to swing it, you know, depending upon. So, you know, you should definitely check it out.
Yeah. Check it out, y'all.
Check it out.
Thank you so much for
Yes,
coming.
girl. Thank you for having me.
I feel like we could kiki all day.
All day.
I'm Kamie Crawford, host of the Relationshit podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more videos, click below to subscribe and like this video for more Dear Media content. So shut up and listen.